discovery's been made here at Lake Springfield.
Yeah, we should mention the other writers who aren't in this room today: John Vitti, John Swartzwelder, Mike Reese, David Merkin, and George Meyer. I think that's everybody,
Well,
right?
I hope you can sleep with who you left out.
Really?
And I've got a list of 100 animators that I'd like to read.
The station does not endorse vigilante justice, unless it gets results, which it will.
You didn't listen to me after I warned you.
Don't worry, nobody watches this stupid show.
One of the best straight lines in the world, to which we killed ourselves trying to come up with the payoff.
Big, gigantic shot that hundreds and hundreds and thousands upon thousands of drawings.
By the way, there's a Lord of the Rings character right there.
What the last people online say we did a million times. This was a great solution.
Yeah, we had the Dyslexic Society at one point.
But tell that joke. That was my favorite on paper. That was
well, because everybody's going kill, 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 and then the dyslexics were going lick, lick, lick.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't work.
We had them all saying kill.
Not only
Homer,
didn't
kill.
work, but when you all love the joke so much, so in the previews we're the only people laughing. We have this nervous little trying to feed them into.
Well, it is the biggest drum roll in the history of the series.
Oh God, it almost killed it.
We had Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow
for a while.
Bob was briefly there.
But really, lots of hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because we love the shot so much, because it's such a great computer-assisted.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about how.
Oh, it was all animated by hand, and we put it in a computerized background, and they're basically like levels of cards of this animation. And when you zoom through it, you have a sense of dimension. It's like there was a hero group of characters in the middle, and then in the front, like this T, and the rest were like secondary characters. I think there's more drawings in that than maybe in an average episode.
Okay, that's as much as I want to know. Oh, I was just going to say, one of the first scenes we showed was to anybody was at the Comic-Con in 2006, the one with Maggie and the breaking the bottle.
This was a late ad.
This is a late and a great joke.
Yeah.
No, there's something I pitched. Because we could never get a great joke for these arms coming through.
I don't think you'd ever lose when you have something where, Dan, you can do some very funny noises.
What was the joke before?
It used to be that there was an arm, and then it came back, and then it came in, and he hit it again, and then it had a surrender flag, and then he hit the surrender flag hand, and then...
It was the worst joke that survived time.
And they're looking up because the arrows used to fly over their heads in that piece of animation.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing where we could never figure out what to do. And late, I think Matt just said, why don't they just fall and they go over? And we were just like, it's exactly
It works
what
so
you
much
should
better.
do.
We had a
By the way, there was
grotesque
a
version
disturbing
of
joke
Homer
here that
falling
we
on the
replaced.
barbecue where he just got impaled.
He just got impaled on a...
It was quite horrifying.
It was very horrifying. You don't know where to laugh or like just be disturbed.
That's a great little touch from Marge.
I just love Marge's hair burning like a Q-tip, and she calmly shakes it off.
This was 20 jokes till we finally got.
Oh, this was battle.
Well, the problem is that, again, making Homer not a jerk. And she gets this sweet thing, and then, we had him with his tape that was sports bloopers, and everything just looked like, he's just on the verge of really not being a good guy. I always like that they're going to hang a baby.
The baby can't believe it either. I just remember this was a lot, too, when there used to be this whole
Why'd
thing
the family
with,
pull up the ladder before Homer got there?
I never
Something subconscious, sorry.
They're in a rush.
This used to be a whole thing with Lisa saving her saxophone, and Milhouse rescuing her saxophone in the very early draft when she was in love with Milhouse.
Well, the mechanics of this scene, I'm sorry, they were tough. Were just to keep the reality of the menace and have action take place. We just had to keep cutting because you wouldn't believe a crowd would wait for them to do those things.
Precisely, yeah. There was a lot of waiting, the crowd patiently waiting for story to unfold.
Crowds do that, don't they?
We're going to hang you, but we're going to wait for the story point so the audience can follow it.
One thing that was great, I thought the movie let us do is have Maggie do more because, it's hard to give her too much on the show. You don't have time for silent bits, but you could really do some great Harpo Marx style stuff with her.
I love Maggie. I think she says so much in her silence.
Yep.
Yeah. Always my favorite.
This is all time.
This is one of my favorites.
This is the one I'm surprised the censors let. In my household, if you did that.
I like that he's digging his way out with his middle
The arrow
finger.
was great.
The arrow was a great
And the way the arrow played off on the other end of it was great.
And having the ha-ha was good. And that sort of went in and out, too, as I recall.
Well, fortunately, with Homer having 4 fingers, it was hard to make the argument that it was his middle finger. So I think that helped us a little.
It's a ring finger, probably.
Another very complicated. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a complicated shot, but I wanted to shoot it from the same point of view that you always see the house at. So it's the same iconic point of view as the house gets sucked in.
And the cuckoo clock, it came in so late in the process. I remember in the last screening, it was just a drawing popping in. Because again, we had these setups without the payoff.
Yeah, and that was a very late shot too. We've got that shot done, I think, in June. Steve Markowski worked hard on that shot, and it came out very well.
Now, this is a wonderful scene, I think. But what's always funny to me is she can hear him knock, but she can't hear him play. She can hear his marker squeak.
And the church is right next to Moe's. There's other things like that. Now, that is the actual music. So
It's a great idea to write that on the dome.
I think that was Ian's idea to write the notes.
Yeah.
I never thought my life would have an absolutely...
Now, if you want to tell the other story behind this, that it used to be Bart and Flanders.
Oh, yes.
That's true. It
that's
used to be
right.
Flanders saying goodbye to Bart. And, well, the short story is that people found it was a little weird.
I think the less said about it, the better.
No, we should confess. Don't you will feel better if we confess.
May as well.
Can I confess that I
don't
never
wanna-
thought this would work?
Okay, then you get to make the confession for us as a group.
Bart did a pressed ham against the dome with his butt. He mooned Flanders, and it was a heart shaped.
Sounds funny.
But with very sweet music playing.
I hope you like it uptown, Matt.
I never thought that was going to work either, but
Yeah,
I
it's a
presented
picture.
it.
Da, 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 da.
There's
Bart's
many
at-
I remember many alternates to this run.
Oh, this was
this
that
was
room.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was such a funny line. And by the way, when I would be listening to the different auditions or other languages for Russ Cargill, this is your test of if an actor's funny in any languages. If that joke gets a laugh,
Yeah.
no matter what the words are, you should get a laugh with it.
I do remember when you pitched the joke, the tough guys and soft guys, that we were all rolling. When
When I read it
when you read it
from
from the
the
room,
sheet, yeah.
it was just so
I
funny.
used to read the Albert stuff, but
It was just great.
it was
Not in Singapore. You won't see that in Singapore.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Oh,
they
is
cut
that
stuff
true?
like that?
Well,
no,
they
they
framed
cut
them,
the
yes.
actual lips touching
Yeah.
of the
Oh
policeman.
no, I think they cut the whole.
No,
the whole
Richard
thing.
Richard
They can
Sakai
hug?
suggested you hear the noises, but you
Yes.
just can't see the physical connection.
Yes.
Is it
So-
because it's two
That
men
was
or
close.
Hey, we slipped a
saved it.
gay joke into Singapore.
Richard's familiar with the ways of Singapore.
I wish he was here to talk more about it.
I think Nancy did this drunk great.